everyone. My name is Jason Ioffe, and today I'd like to share with you a tale I call Surreality. On a cold November afternoon, Marty the woodsman traveled deep into the forests of Norway to gather food. Hours passed, but Marty wasn't about to come back empty-handed. The sun reclined, and the skies were saturated with brilliant moonlight and the ardent glow of the aurora borealis. Unfortunately, the ground and trees were shrouded in absolute darkness. It did not take long for Marty to realize he was hopelessly lost. As he panicked, he looked around and saw a tremendous pillar of light piercing the clouds and reaching far up into the atmosphere. Marty was drawn to it like a moth to a flame. He cautiously made his way through the tall grass and bushes until he reached the source of the mysterious light. It was a boulder, a large, pulsating stone that seemed to expand and contract, breathing as if it were a living thing. Surrounding the mystical rock was a circle of hooded figures, chanting and screaming, "Nobis patistratem Lucifer! Nobis patistratem Lucifer!" Oh, Marty didn't like that at all, but he had no choice but to remain still and silent, or this group would detect him instantly. So he watched fearfully as they continued their ritual until the stone heaved and collapsed in a pile of ashes. Its light scattered between the members of the circle, and the next thing Marty knew, an arrow of solid energy hit him right between the eyes. Everything turned white. A voice echoed through Marty's mind. "Ego sum Lucifer! I am the light bearer. I grant you power beyond any mortal measure in exchange for your eternal service in spreading my light." Marty really didn't like the sound of that, so he ran and ran deep into the forests before him. His heart was pounding, his legs were burning, but he pushed onwards until he could no longer feel the ground beneath his feet. The skies above him had dissolved and were replaced with absolute darkness. Looking around in a panic once again, he noticed lights far into the distance. These mysterious orbs expanded into enormous eyes, gazing at him from every angle in every imaginable distance. But Marty stood strong. He was not afraid. Then the eyes exploded with a fiery belligerence, their essence drawn to a single point directly in front of him. As Marty grew nearer to this mysterious point, he saw a creature with gray, wrinkled skin and eyes harboring an abyss more harrowing than the void around them. Eventually, the creature rose and approached Marty as if its atrophied muscles were supported by strings from far up above. "I am God! For is God not the definition of a perfect being? I represent the pinnacle of the evolutionary process. Is God's purpose not to grant purpose to all things? I have created every universe and civilization that you know of." Marty was not scared or intimidated by this beast. In return, he responded, "I see none of the universes that you have created. All I see is a ghoul at the epicenter of an infinite darkness. I perpetuate darkness no more than the so-called light bearer perpetuates light." And with that, Marty felt a force gripping his legs, stretching them to infinity, pulling his body and soul down, down, until he emerged back at the forest floor. Looking around him, in a frenzy, he saw a clearing in the trees. He made a run for it. He emerged in a field with short grass and only a single tree at the center. an enormous tree. Its tremendous bark resembled the musculature of a titan. Every branch ended not in fruit, not in leaves, but in theatrical masks harboring different emotions. Marty cautiously approached the tree. These masks fell to the ground, burrowing deep into the earth. Eventually, the earth shook beneath him as from their terranean womb rose beasts harboring the masks that fell from the trees, each permanently locked in a single state of mind, in a single continence, to forever walk mindless and unwilling and without any will for eternity. But Marty was brave. He did not let any of this fool him or scare him, and he screamed at the top of his lungs, "No! I refuse to accept any of this. This is an illusion. You specters are not real. You cannot harm me. I will find my way back home." And with that, everything turned into a puff of smoke and vanished. The next thing Marty knew, he saw a stream glistening in the moonlight, and he followed it closely until he saw the silhouette of his own cabin in the distance. Even amidst great fear, uncertainty, he was lost. There were obstacles, but he stood strong and found his way home. We can all learn something from Marty. No matter what you face, no matter how lost you feel, persevere. Never doubt the infinite potential of human willpower. Thank you.